your info. Okay, so let's start. During this year of pandemic, many businesses have been hit hard and forced many to pivot. Many have wanted to start new business, but where do we wonder? I wonder all the time, am I too old to start, or is it the right time to start, or when should we start, or how? And all these questions keep popping up in my head when I'm thinking of starting something new. Okay, we are afraid to go and change and do something else. And we have heard success stories from people who have started at a late age. For example, Amadeo Giannini had the vision to start the Bank of America at 61, okay? And then Gordon Bowker founded Starbucks at 52. And for those who might be fans of Netflix, for example, Queen's Gambit, you might be interested to know that Reed Hastings, Netflix CEO, only started streaming in his late 40s. So actually, we are not alone. Actually, I'm talking about myself. I'm in my late 40s. So I'm not alone to want to start late and go. But I really don't know how to sometimes. And we do wonder if we can still do it at this late age. I mean, starting something at 20s is something, but when you have family and everything else, and when everyone else is talking about retiring and we're starting again, is it too late? And how do we find success in any age, or how do we make it happen even? But don't worry, because the guest we have today is going to help us to do just that. I'm really, really excited to introduce you to Noor Quek. So meet Noor. Hi.
Hi.
So let me introduce her, because she has a phenomenal CV, and I'm just going to highlight some of the things for you. So she is a philanthropist and a wealth management advisor with over 40 years of wisdom to share about its success. As one of the first successful female private bankers in Singapore, her advice is sought after by the most high net worth clients in the country. Noor's success in her life has different pursuits. So she's not only just doing business, she likes to challenge herself constantly, and she has a need to help those around her. So great for us, right? Because we are now around her and she is going to help us, I'm sure. So today, she runs her own wealth advisory firm, NQ International, which she founded when she was 57. And 57 doesn't mean this year, although she looks very young. She is now 70. She said she doesn't mind me sharing that. Okay, so apart from wealth advisory, her firm actually provides executive search and talent identification at senior levels. And I'm really, really excited. And she is also a founder of Breast Cancer Association in Singapore. And she does a ton of other stuff. I think one of us is called Board Gender, which is more of gender equality and stuff like that. But anyway, there's too much to say. Let's get started. I'm really excited. So again, before we start, feel free to add your comments or any questions you have, and then we'll try and get to them, okay? So, Noor, I'm really, really excited to meet you. And the first thing I really wanted to know, what were you thinking about at 57 when you first founded NQ International? What was the inspiration behind it? And what made you feel that it's not too old? I mean, people retire at 60, but you're starting at 57. So what happened then? Can you share with us what your thoughts were?
Surely. Thank you very much, Coco. And hello, everybody. This is only about sharing. It's not a formula. Everybody will have their own journeys, and as they get along, they will be taking their own sights in mind and formulating their own strategies. But to be honest with you, I always had the back of my mind told myself I am officially an office worker. I never thought I would start my own business, but it's funny, other people felt I could do well doing my own business. And when I was about to take on a very challenging senior position with one of the private bankers, And I did recognize just before the global economic crisis that the markets were not looking too good. Um, and I was looking at the idea of family office setups, as wealthy families get on and work with the different generations. It was my clients who told me, Noor, don't join another bank. Help us. When you knew us, we didn't have much. Today, we have more than we need. We're not using it. Our children don't want to work for us. Our health is not that good. Are we really happy? Help us sort it out. From one bank, we have five banks. From one banker, we have five bankers. From one advisor, we have 10 advisors. From one house, we have 20 houses around the world. I mean, it doesn't make sense. And so I told myself, and this is the prerogative that many women have, since I was not the main breadwinner and my children had already kind of graduated, why not? So I slept over it, and a few days later, I got out and did my business plan and moved on. Now, this is one thing I want to share. I was a bit shy whether I should put my name up front because NQ stands for Noor Quek. Um, and then someone said, if this is about you providing advice, then put your name up front. Today, I like to believe that the NQ also stands for network and quality.
Nice.
So, a lot of times you have something at the back of your mind. I'd say don't bury it.
Okay.
Listen to what also other people think of you. Think of your own circumstances. What are you prepared to lose? What do you want to get out of it? And go for it. 57 is another number. It's as good as 27.
Yep, sure it is. Okay, that's really great sharing. So you touched on a bit about legacy, right? And I have had friends who are also talking about leaving the legacy behind and how you start something and the children actually don't want to carry it through, and then what next, right? So tell us, I saw a video where you said legacy is about planning what you want out of life. So what exactly is legacy planning, and when do we start?
Thank you very much. I think that's a very important question. First, let me answer the second question first. When do we start? I think we start from the moment we start thinking about how we lead our lives. It's not about when we start working. What kind of a person do we want to be? What are we seeing in our family? What are the values that are imparting to us? Honesty, integrity, trust. And these grow on us, and we tend to go out and mirror those qualities. Very often, legacy is thought to be equal to passing money on, passing wealth on. But there are two aspects to legacy. One is really and most important, the unquantifiable values, what I talked about, trust, honesty, and so on. And the other is what you have gained out of life and built something. Now, in Europe, when someone has a company, I don't think many of them really think I will pass it on to my children. They'll sell it, they'll list it, maybe even at 60 or 70, they'll put the money in some big charity and they go on holiday. Here, they want to control right until they are having their last breath. That letting go is so difficult. Plus, because the children have gone away, studied, have different aspirations in life, they may have other views and they may not want to run the company, more so if it is under the control of father or uncle or grandfather. So I think legacy is a combination and is made up of your culture, your background, your upbringing, plus what you gather out of life. As you go on, you start thinking, when I first came, there are so many things I don't like and so many things I don't know. Then when we start studying, there are more things we like, but there are some things we don't know. Then there are situations when there are things we like, we know, but we don't like. Okay? And then you reach a stage like me, where I will only do what I like and I know. So if you take the digital world, for example, I used to dislike it because it was so hard for me to understand it. Today, no choice. You just have to do it.
Right, right. I love that, because at the end of the day, we need to be happy and fulfilled. And if we continue to do things that we don't like, it's actually very hard for us to maintain a healthy a healthy lifestyle, actually, because you'll be working in something that you absolutely hate and you just don't want to do it. And struggling, like you said, I struggle with technology as well. But I want to go back to one of the things that you said about legacy planning. It's funny how you say, like, in the Western world, they actually sell it off and list it and all that. And I was reading somewhere that Asian parents or Asian families actually really like to hand it down to the next generation. And that is also why they always wanted a boy, so that they could hand down things and get it working, right? But Japan is one of the few places in Asia that actually has good generation after generation, because they do not hand it down to their family and they do not hand it to their kids. Just like what you were saying, they can let go. Whereas if we built something, it's really tough to let go. So you said something about finding out what we want in life. That is a very difficult thing to do, because how do we go about finding what we want if we don't even know what's out there sometimes? I mean, what would your advice be? How do we go about planning and finding out what we want and then planning for it? What are there any steps, or does it just come?
Coco, those are very insightful comments. Thank you. And I think you've touched on the whole crux about how we build our lives. Now, in my Gmail, I have a tagline at the bottom. It says, "There is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way." So as you go along, you find happiness. You don't think happiness is right there, and therefore, you have to go towards it. That's one. In my professional email, the byline I have at the bottom is, "Failing to plan is planning to fail." Now, these are not my words. I have taken quotations from famous people and I've borrowed it. And what does that mean? Failing to plan is planning to fail. You're taking your car and you're going to a certain destination. Halfway, there's a flood or a roadblock. You've already planned your route. You can detour, but your objective is still there. So, and our life scenario changes as we go along. And many of us resist change. For myself, whenever I found something odd that was offered to me, I thought, hey, why not? The worst, I can give it up and I can start again or take off from where I last left off. So you have to have not a clean sheet of paper. You must have some thoughts about what you want to be. Never mind that you want to be a outer space star at a time when people are not going to outer space. But there are steps to be taken, and you yourself must be honest with yourself as you go along. Is this really what I want? And listen to the people around you. There's nothing wrong with hearing what people think, because sometimes we only want to believe what we want to believe. But your good friends, your family, listen to them, and then take the road that you believe you would like to travel. And I can tell you, as you do that, along the way, although there are obstacles, obstacles, your happiness will build up, and your plan will unfold.
Wow. Okay. I love that. And I actually I wrote this down. There is no way to happiness because happiness is the way. I'm going to put that up for myself as well. I love that. So I want to ask you, of all the things that you've done in your lives so far, what is the best role that you feel has brought out the best in you? What would that be?
Being a wife, mother, daughter, grandmother, friend.
Wow. Okay. So all the family and personal stuff.
Very much family, and it is not to be taken for granted. There's a lot of work to be done. Your partner grows in a different direction as go, and you also change, but you may refuse to accept that you have changed. And then when your biggest burdens are off, you feel like a free woman, but hey, there are other people around you. But I tell you, my best lessons are from my grandchildren. I find that looking at life with the eyes of the young and innocent is so amazing, is absolutely amazing. You know who's teaching me how to do tech stuff? My 8-year-olds.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I think there is a lot of value in family and, of course, friends, because as we go on in age, we find that people in the past in our lives come back to us. And that is
Mm.
so refreshing because it brings us back to times when we were happy, when we were struggling. And we forget all, whether they are rich, they are poor, or whatever. I saw you as a university mate, or saw you as a primary school, and you remember the time you punched the other guy, and friends are so important. They understand, but you have to gauge also their sincerity. So it's back to yourself and being honest with yourself.
Right, right. That's beautiful. I mean, you're sending us so many golden nuggets, and I do believe that family is the most important because those memories that are created through family and friends are the ones that are going to be with us for the rest of our lives. Whereas all these business or whatever will come and go. They're still important,
Oh,
but I
absolutely.
think
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So let us take a few questions from our audience and then we'll carry on and see what they have to say. So I have a few questions already. And Kita, do you want to unmute yourself and switch on your camera and ask your question? Are you there, Anika? And Kita, sorry, and Kita. Are you there, Ankita? I see her there, but I don't see her camera switched on. Okay, never mind. We'll move on to the next person first. Angeline Jang, are you here, Angeline?
Hello. Yes,
Yes.
Angeline here. Yeah. Actually, I just wanted to ask because I'm 34 this year, and I have been hanging around with some of the very young and energetic 20 something female founder, and they recently started, like technologies, apps, and I really want to be part of them, and we are doing a female empowerment movement application as well. But sometimes I find that comparing to them, I feel I'm more easily to get tired, but they can work until like middle of the night, maybe 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, and then I wake up at 5 and continue to do projects and stuff. I myself are not able to do that anymore. Sometimes I sleep at 11 and I wake up at 7. So, and I try my best to do whatever I can. And sometimes because I was unfortunately that lost my job during this pandemic, and then I also worry because like in as Asian, people think that, oh, you are 30 plus, mid 30s, and you should get you should get married and you should settle down. You should not try all these things, and you should save more money. You should just go to get a job again. But to me, because I find that I want to do something, I actually found my purpose. But there are times I doubt. I have doubts that not sure if I can do it. How so I wonder, like, maybe you can share with us some of your ideas, or like comments. How can we like compared to the like the younger energetics, like very fun, very I don't know how to say, like the founder, but how can I successfully to be a founder and to build up my business? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Noor.
Hi, Angeline. Firstly, rule number one, never compare. You are you. Just as
Right.
you think they are energetic and lively, you don't know, but they think, oh my God, how I wish I could be as composed and as knowledgeable. I can't wait to grow up. You've heard that before. So, one, don't compare. Two, you've gone through certain things in life, like, lost your job and all. So, it is expected that you would feel depressed. You must get out of that syndrome. You have to fight it. You have to deflect it and do things that will make you feel you are giving. One good way to do it, and which I have done before, is go help a charity. When you see children who cannot walk, who have cancer, old people lying on the bed, middle aged people who are stricken, you feel grateful. You have a pair of hands, eyes, and the energy, and it energizes you. And I can tell you, you don't know how many people think you are so lucky to be able to sleep from 11 to 7. You know how many people cannot sleep?
Yes.
So don't think negative. I hear words like follower. Why follower? Be a leader. Even the telephone operator is a leader. So don't belittle yourself, if that I can use that word. Don't think, and one thing I want to share with you guys, in my age, I have found many times I've wanted something, or something happened to me which was bad, and I said, oh my God, I'm not going anywhere. Many years later, when I look back, I think it's a blessing in disguise. Because that happened, I fought it, or I got stronger, or I helped somebody who became a very good friend. And that was a wonderful lesson. In today's world, there's such a thing called storytelling. It doesn't mean one person's story can be applied to you, but by listening to someone's experiences specific, you will believe there is a way out. You have to do it, and you have to find it. So wake up in the morning and feel blessed that there is a day ahead of you. Go out and meet people on the streets. When the pandemic came, it was so nice for me to take my car and drive on the pretext of buying food, possibly. But you see people on the road. I give you a small example of looking positively. My mother is 96. After the elections, she told me, drive her to the constituencies which had not, had won the opposition. She said, goodness gracious me, this is the next day after an election. And look, people are walking on the streets, no soldiers, no guns, no police. Aren't we lucky? Always look on the brighter side. You will feel very good for it. And please, don't break the 11 to 7 sleep. That's a gem. Sleep helps your health and rests your mind.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
That's a wonderful sharing. Okay, we have another question from Lo Wai Ling. Lo Wai Ling, do you want to unmute and ask the question yourself? Hello? Lo Wai Ling.
Hi, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
my colleague's talking in the background. Let me just move.
Okay, sure.
Okay, sorry. Okay, yeah. So my question is that so I think it's really impressive, like the things that you share with us. Thanks so much. So just a bit of context, I'm in my 20s, and I've always been approached by people to like set up a new venture for them, help them to reveal like their like business strategy or like their um service offerings and stuff. But the thing is, it's like no one really wants to pay for it. So like I'm always being sought out like for all these like opinions, help me with this. And usually I'm more active in the social service space. So I'm quite happy to help them. But it's like I'm trying to think, okay, how can I leverage on like my certain skills, my knowledge, and actually get some returns on it? Because I can't be helping people for free forever. Yeah, so I just wanted to know like how do I go about trying to put a price on like whatever skills and knowledge I can offer?
Well, I think that's a very, very good question. I've been there many, many times. And one day I woke up and I said, I am going to use this two-letter word, NO, no. You, we say yes to everybody, and then we find we are overwhelmed. So the minute I did that, I said, however, there are certain aspects I'll be happy to help you with on a once-off basis. Now, coming back to you, if you have gathered this different experiences over time, there are so many people looking for people with skills in this sector. I mean, even you look at the various charities, they're short of people, and you must try. You can talk to NCSS, you can talk to reach out to the various charities. You can even go and help in some of the homes, and as the staff get to know you, you become a permanent staff at some point in time. The important thing, Wei is to speak your mind, but in a direct way. I tell you, yesterday I shared a similar experience. Someone approached me and said, can you be an advisor on my board? Now, I trust this person entirely and I know the business he is in. I slept over it. I called him and I said, thank you for the offer. I'm going to be direct. The answer is no. Do that first. But let me also tell you why I'm saying no. I told him I was overwhelmed. But I said, my line is open. Anytime you are in a fix or you want to find out if your thoughts are in the right direction, I'm happy to share with you. And then fourth, I said, I will point you in the direction of 3 people who I think would help you. He was so happy. So there are ways around it. You must be in control of yourself and learn to say no.
Yeah, thanks so much. But apart from like saying no, which I have been learning, because I've been feeling quite burnt out actually, like since last year, because I kind of overcommit. But now I'm also thinking like I do want to start like a small business, helping like businesses, helping like charities, social entrepreneurs and stuff. But I do want to see how I can, monetize it a little. Yep. So how do I get to there? How do I? Because people are just so used to like getting things for free. Like, how do I tell them without sounding like really,
Well, you can
Yeah.
start by saying, I will help you on this part, but sorry, on this other part, uh, I do have a business. I'm running a business. So if you don't mind, this will be a charge. And for a start, you might want to do some of these things initially free to be able to earn the trust and respect of whoever you're dealing with. You might also want to be able to share it with another friend who is knowledgeable in that business. But before then, you have to make sure that you know enough to be able to help constructively, because it could work the other way. And then you might find you're in lawsuits and things like that. That is quite dangerous. So, but look, there are so many schemes also that are available to help young entrepreneurs. Just write it. No venture, no gain.
Thank you so much. That was really
Don't
useful.
give up, huh? Just go. One fails, pick up and go on to the next one. You will be amazed what you learn in every instance can be applied later on in life. And you say, so that's why I had to do that.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Wow. I'm learning along the way as well. All these great
I learned
tips.
from you earlier.
we have a lot of questions. Okay. So the next person is Daphne. Daphne Leung. Do you want to unmute and ask your question?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hello, Noor. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Actually, I'm a herbalist, and I have just started venturing out in this industry recently. So basically, my question is because I'm in my early 40s, and I'm from entirely different industry before. So it seems to be that what is your advice, for those who are at their early 40s like me, okay, just only found out their true callings in life, to try to do and help out with all the people around them, but the circle of people around them would just not be supportive, and there seems to be like ignoring you when you try to tell something out to them.
Firstly, 40s is very young, and there's nothing wrong with trying something new. I just want to draw your attention. There are some things you can do and you can fail and it doesn't impact other people. But there's some occupations where you can do and it could adversely impact other people. You know that. As a herbalist, and even I'm not saying peppermint oil or lavender or something is bad, but if someone has a counter reaction, it could impact on you. The most important thing, you take cosmeticians or people who start aesthetic services, the first thing is, oh, wow, your face, it looks fantastic. Yeah, I'm using the creams that I have, you must be the walking example. And then you have to make sure you have tested it enough, especially for this industry. And if you go for proper certifications, that is very important. And if you need to be registered to do this, also very important. So it doesn't matter whether you've gone from occupation A to occupation Z. In each case, you must be well trained, or you run the business, but you get someone. It's like someone in a restaurant. They get a first class cook, but they don't know how to cook. But they have friends. And their friends come because they can promote that I've got a fantastic cook here who does this. So think of your role, your competence, if you want to win the mindsets of people around you. And if you are the walking example of feeling good and smelling good, and over time it's tried and tested, you're not getting diarrhea or vomiting or rashes or whatever, be mindful of the industry you're in. Same thing with financial advisory. You need to be trained. If not, you cannot do some things, yeah? Exactly. So it's nice to be thinking of doing new things, but just be mindful of what the rules can be surrounding it. And then you could have a test group who speaks up before, after. See, I had all this acne on my face, and then, my herbalist told me this, but my herbalist is trained, and, this is an acclaimed product. action speaks louder than words.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that.
Okay, great. So next question is from Sun Lim Tang. Is that how you pronounce your name? Sun Lim?
Hi, yes, that's my name. I'm Sunim. Hi, Noor.
Hi, you're looking
Yeah,
very clear.
I can't put on my video right now because I'm at someone's place. And
Oh, no worries.
I want to show their home. Yeah, but okay, yeah, that's from me, the question, yes.
Okay, do you want to ask the question? Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have the text with me, so perhaps you can help me to read it.
Well, okay, I'll read it for you. In the challenging and ever-changing environment, how does one continue to be employed after 55 years old in a private banking segment?
You look familiar.
Yes.
Are you digital savvy?
Yes, quite.
Okay. The private banking sector, obviously one has, and I know people who are above 55. I was above 55 and I was still in the industry. Okay. So that should not be a criteria. What the industry looks for is your knowledge, in investments, are you well trained? Do you have the experience over the years with very good organizations, which can, be evidenced by your CV? If you are a private banker and you have links with the ultra high net worth, then that's private banking. If it's not ultra, it's still priority banking. So the industry doesn't close itself to age or gender, but it is very important that you have the right skill sets that you can then apply. I mean, within private banking, there is trust, there is investment advisory, there's business development. So it depends on your skill sets. But if you suddenly at 55 want to get into private banking, unless you have a link with 100 or so people with millions of dollars, it's going to be difficult. It's a language you need to understand. Is a big responsibility when you're advising people, which is why you need to also pass the requirements set by MAS. But age should not deter you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, great. So another question from Lois. Lois, do you want to ask the question?
Hi, sorry, I don't have the question with me either.
Okay.
You help for that.
Okay, sure.
Thank you so much.
Lois's question is, do you have any advice for young women? Very simple phrase, but
How young is young?
how?
So currently I'm 23. I'm just starting out my business. So in the initial state, it's sort of lost. It's like, what approach or attitude should I be in this business environment? How could I like stand up in my own place? Like my attitude, the way, the directions, like any advice for me? Thank you.
Okay, young or old, the same rules apply.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get into a business, you must understand the business.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to reach out to the right crowd to be able to get that crowd to respond to you. And if it is a business where there are a lot of competitors, you must be able to explain what makes you different. What is your niche?
Mm-hmm.
The reason I chose family office is to be able to understand the family dynamics as people grow old. Young people would have a problem doing that. But if one has been through it, it's a lot easier because you can share your experiences. A grandmother or grandfather talking to me would say, grandchildren these days or children these days. Yeah. So, but The other thing which people don't understand is they start a business but they don't market themselves enough. And today, with situations like this, you could go on webinars, you could learn, you could share, and someone will then call you and say, hey, I realize you doing this. Actually, I'm doing this as well. Let's get in touch. The marketing to the right crowd is very important. It's like if you take a woman's magazine and distributed it in a kindergarten, you're not going to get many people responding, and nobody will advertise in the woman's magazine, right? So you must reach out to the relevant crowd who is interested in your product. I've been driving around Singapore, and I'm amazed at the number of small businesses that have set up and are highly successful and in very, very suburban areas. I talk to the owners, I say, you're not scared. You're in Loyang and then you're selling all this equipment. You say, no, because when I advertise, the people who are looking for this will come and find me.
So you have to have a very clear target audience and
you must have. Yes, very good. Thank you very much for mentioning the word. It's a target audience. Yes. Both actually, target audience and niche. And explain it simply. Touch your nose like this instead of this.
Right. So your personal branding is...
One other thing, Liz, I just wanted to say, let people speak for your successes. You can say you're successful, but if someone doesn't stand and say, I was advised of this, or I did this, and this is how it's like, someone must speak for you.
Right. It's like words of mouth. It's more
Sorry?
important. It's your personal branding, your reputation. It's like coming from other people. Like the trust from your potential customers gonna be.
Yes, absolutely.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Absolutely. And less is best. Instead of looking at 100 people, look at 20 of the most likely ones and just concentrate on that.
Okay. I love your insight. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Okay. So a lot of questions, and I'm hoping that everyone is getting a lot of value from today. There was a question that was sent in, and I would like to know this too. So what's your success mantra?
Never give up. Yeah. But do let go. Okay. So back to this, failing to plan is planning to fail, and there is no way to happiness because happiness is the way. So you have a plan and you want to go, and many of us are very stubborn. We don't want to listen to our inner instincts sometimes, or when people with good intentions talk to us. So we have this plan, so we don't let go. But as we go along, there are things we just have to let go in order to be able to reach our destination. Maybe the car broke down. You still have to get there. You take a bus or an MRT. I mean, same principle you use in the attitudes you take in life. I've done that many, many, many times. And another thing I believe is you don't have to do everything every time. Sometimes when you have a problem and you think you want an answer straight away, just leave it for a bit. There is something to be said about doing nothing is doing something. Tomorrow, when you look at it, it's less serious than today.
Yep. I love that. And I want to share with you something that I learned recently from one of my mentors about letting go. And he put it like this, which I really like. If you're flowing on a river and you're holding onto a rock, you will never be able to go with the flow because you're just holding on. But as soon as you let go, you can flow to wherever you need to be in the river. And I love that analogy.
That is so good, and I'm going to borrow it the next time. But that is actually what I'm trying to say. You still will
Mm.
swim, but if you're going to hang on to stuff that is, it's going to impede you. So thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you for reminding me of that. So we don't have a lot of time, so I want to ask you this one question, because you talked about letting go, and you talk about finding things you love and things you like. So share with us, what makes you happy? What do you do to relax or to be happy and enjoy life apart from family? I know which comes first. What are there hobbies or anything that helps you along the way?
Absolutely. It's music. I'm a
Okay.
musician. I do jazz. I do, and anything that enables me, that makes me happy, and others become happy. I am absolutely delighted. And I find music, whether you're a child, even they say babies in stomachs, a mother's stomach, when there's music, uh, I've seen elderly dementia react very positively to music. And I myself, some of my friends, when they have to perform, and there are a lot of old folks there. This is when I don't charge at all for my music. But I insist in some instances that there is a payment which goes to the charity. So that's
Mm.
helping as well, right? So I'll share with you this. I often play around Christmas at an old folks' home. And other days, the old people are just sitting down there staring in outer space, the men looking one side, the women looking one side. And then comes the party, and all the women have got lipstick beyond their lip line, bright dresses, tennis shoes, and the men are still in the Japanese slippers sitting down there. And then the women ask, yeah, yang Taipei water sing, rasa sayang, di Tanjong Katong, Keser. They just ask for 5 songs, and they forget that they have asked for the song before. And I don't say, oh yeah, I just played it. I say, oh sure, auntie, that's a nice song. Don't ridicule them because they have forgotten. Give them that dignity. And this message must go back to how you treat your elderlies at home. Give them that dignity. So I do that at the old folks' home with children. At the hospitals now, you find a piano. Why? Music is therapeutic. So find a hobby that will soothe you and will hopefully make others happy. So music is me.
Wow. Yeah, music is basic happiness, I guess. Anytime you hear music, it conjures up all the emotions and stuff. We just have one last question that came in, and it's from Samantha. So let me ask this question because we don't have that much time. Any advice for selecting the right business partner, or steps to take to find a good business partner? So I think this is very important for anyone who's starting or looking for business partners. Any advice there?
A lot of advice. I myself have chosen to be a sole proprietor because of my age. And because what I want to do, I don't want to spread it too wide. And I know what my competence is. But when you use the word business partner, there's equity partner, and there are partners you will do certain businesses with. So with each case, you can have your separate contracts and negotiations which end after the project. But you must be in control of your own company. And if you have an equity partner, a business partner that has a stake in the company, make sure, please, that you are adequately covered in case one of the partners pops off or you yourself pops off, because that impacts the business and the families with it. And that includes planning the structure of the company properly, passing the shares to some people, a trust, probably, insurance coverage. And on the subject of that, I'm not an insurance agent. I want to caution everybody that wealth is more important than health. So above everything else, make sure you're continuously healthy, because without health, you cannot make wealth even. But the subject is you have to trust somebody, and that takes time. And don't forget, people might change or their circumstances might change, which is why the structure of your company is so important.
Right.
Ask
That's
the one.
really,
Yeah.
so really love all the sharings today. And so we don't have that much time now. Let me see. Thank you. Okay, so before we end, anyone who's here and love this type of sharing, please join FEW membership. Someone will be putting a link below so that you can join, because we have these sharings all the time. So it's really nice to see everyone and to meet everyone. And I just want to leave with this. So I guess the only thing that is stopping us from starting our dream business or following our dream is how we think and how we can let go and find our way along the way by letting go. That's what my taking. So Noor has said, fail to plan is the plan to fail. So we must have a plan. We must have the ultimate goal. But along the way, we will have detours, we will have changes, but we're not afraid to do those changes and to take that. So with that in mind, we can make it happen. We have to believe in ourselves. So thank you, Noor, again, for all the inspiration. And I want to wish everyone a really Merry Christmas, wherever you are, whether you are at home or whether, well, I guess everyone should be staying at home, but the home is where Christmas is best spent, with your family, and you can create magic even if you're not going out. So have a Merry Christmas, and let's make it happen in 2021, everyone. Okay, make it your year. You can do it. Thank you very much again, Noor, and lovely to see you all.
Thank you.
Yep. So bye.